I'm driving. I hope the background is not making any noise, right?
No, no, no. You're good. You're good.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So I've been doing real estate for 25 years here in the US. I've been teaching real estate to agents and brokers. So a lot of people that want to do real estate for a living, they would come to a school that I own in Massachusetts, and they would take a course with me for 40 hours. And I would teach them how to navigate and pass the exam with the state, and then get their license. And I have a real estate license in 13 or 14 different states. I don't even keep track of it anymore, but I have a real estate license, including New York. I have a real estate license in New York. So if I want to do real estate, I can do real estate in New York. I also own the real estate brokerage company where we had real estate agents, 30 agents that used to work for me with Remax. So I used to own a Remax franchise. And the biggest amount of profit that I made in America as someone that spent almost 30 years in America is slowly investing in real estate. So let me give you an example. I bought my first house. I was 19 years old. I paid $100,000 for the house. 20 years later, the house is almost paid for completely because I took a mortgage on that house. But 100 grand, I put $10,000 as a down payment. And then today, that house is worth $800,000, $900,000 in DC. So over 20 years, $100,000 turned into $800,000. But the actual money out of my pocket was less than $10,000. Less than $10,000 I put out of my pocket to buy that property. And I never paid a mortgage on it. From the day that I bought that house, I always rented the house. Even when I used to live in the house as a young single bachelor, I would rent some of the rooms and stay in one of the rooms or stay in the basement so that the tenant paid the mortgage for it. 20 years down the line, I am now a father, a husband, and I have a house in Washington, D.C. that's worth $800,000 that I never paid a penny for it except for my down payment. There's not a lot of things that you can do where you deposit $10,000 and then see over 10 years or 20 years, $800,000 in value, that if I sold it today, that's how much I would make. If I refinanced it, that's how much I could pull out of it. If I decided to give it to my kids, they would inherit something substantial at a very young age. So the idea is now to say, well, how can I capture that kind of opportunity on a bigger scale? The real money people in America works in that world where we are not even aware of it. You're from New York, so you know that there are apartments in New York that sells for 40 million, 50 million, 100 million, and people still buy them. And a lot of these apartments are not even occupied by the buyer because the buyer might be in Russia or Dubai or somewhere far away, but they still buy them unoccupied. And then they turn around and refinance them if they need money, but they hold on to it as an opportunity to capitalize on US dollar, US economy, US strength and security. So when I see these kinds of things going around in the background and I teach it so I'm familiar with it, I ask myself, why am I not taking advantage of those kinds of scenarios? And one of the biggest obstacles is the concept of leverage and the down payment and all the other money that you need to come up with in order to play in that high level area. So there's no rule that says that you can't do these things in partnerships. So what we're trying to do is something incredibly simple, not complicated. There's a book by George S. Clason. It's called The Richest Man of Babylon. As a matter of fact, I'm opening a little Facebook group because of that book. And the book talks about how to be financially independent or wealthy over a long period of time, steadily, but consistently. And that's the reason why I love that book. The book is called The Richest Man of Babylon. The Richest Man of Babylon advised 5 or 6 things to get independence, financial independence in a lifetime. First thing that they talk about is take no less than 10% of your income and always put it aside. When it grows enough, make sure you invest in secure and safe investments. Number 3, own a property. Number 4, improve yourself so that you can earn more. And there's a bunch of rules, but those kinds of things are things that are so elementary that people from Babylon used to do these kinds of things and it worked for them. It hasn't changed. So the thing that we're trying to create is simple. We're trying to create an opportunity where 250 people come together and say, I'm going to take 10% of my income or 20% of my income, me along with 249 other people. We're going to pull our resources together and we're going to invest in real estate. And the investment in real estate will be evaluated on an annual basis. Why an annual basis is because if you invest in real estate for short term, you're going to get impacted by short-term capital gain. That's 25%. But if you invest in real estate for longer than 12 months, the capital gain tax drops from 25 to 15. So if this group invested $250,000 on a project, and that's the profit, they invested and they made $250,000 profit. Capital gain tax at 25% is going to be something like 25, 50, $75,000. They're going to pay $75,000 in taxes, or 72,000 and some change, 72,500 in taxes. I don't have a calculator. I'm just doing it off the top of my head. But if they hold on to that investment for longer than 12 months, their capital gain tax drops from 25 to 15. Now their capital gain tax is something like $40,000 or something like that. So we went from 72 to 40 grand just because of the extra 6 months that they hold on to the investment. So if we're trying to be a wealthy team, a team that thinks about generating and growing our capital, we have to minimize the expenditure and the expenses that goes out of the team. And one of the biggest expenses is tax. So if we hold on to it for 12 months versus 6 months, we save 10%. But nothing stops us from coming together as a group and saying, every single person put $1,000 every month, or every single person put $500 every month. Every person put $250 a week. When you get paid, take $250 and put it into the club. When we have substantial amount of money in the club every single month, we can use that to buy property in America. We can buy properties that are run down, that the bank does not want to finance. And then we have contractors that Hector can assist us finding, and they can go and fix the house. And they can fix the house in a matter of 1 month. And then we repeat the process. And we repeat the process every single year. If we have 250 people doing this, we can own 12, 13 homes in America every single year. We can then sit down and say, okay, we have 13 homes that belong to us. We have 12 homes that belong to us. We have 15 homes that belong to us. What do? We can sell all of it and share the profit. We can rent all of it and collect dividend. We can refinance. We can do anything we want with the 12 homes so that our group becomes wealthy. We can leverage it. We can use it and find ways to secure Sharia compliant financing within our community or with banks like Guardian Bank or whatever that does Sharia financing. We can sell it to the members of the club. We can do raffles. We can say, okay, our profit is 1 million. Our profit is 1.5 million. Let's take some of these houses and give them away to our community members so that we encourage them to invest more with us in the future so that we can grow as a community that is stronger, that is more financially established. But the beautiful thing about this is that when you have a group of 250 people, it is really simple to pull together a poll where you can have people vote on the things that we should be able to do as a community for us to be financially independent. a lot of people don't pay attention to some of these things. I deal with hard money lenders. I was doing a project here in Baltimore. The hard money lender is a Jewish person. And the Jewish person, through conversations and report, I learned that that person has invested over $650 million in one community, one Baltimore, Maryland. That one person, that one entity, over the span of 30 years, has invested $650 million in Baltimore alone. So I ask him, where did you get $650 million to invest? He says, I am part of a community at my synagogue that pull resources together to help the community out. I said, to help the community out or to profit from the community? Because the money is not free. You're not giving it away for free. You're charging interest. He said, yes, we charge interest, but we don't pay interest among each other. So this becomes a religious synagogue-based community where all members of the temple pull resources together so that even if they don't do work within themselves, even if someone's retired, someone is sick, someone is handicapped, someone is like whatever, because he has invested in this part of this temple, the money that he invests now goes out and makes money for him. So if he has invested $1 million over the years, a 10% interest or 10% return or a 10% profit sharing, that $1 million generates $100,000 for him every single year. Most people don't earn an income of $100,000, but that's how much he makes. So $630 million just simply means that over the years, one person convinced 500 people, 600 people inside of a temple that generated and increased their net worth to a point where they can invest each $1 million into a fund, and the fund does hard money loan, and their target, their profit target is 10%. That's it, 10%. The market goes up. We're talking about the real estate market goes up, they make 10%. Real estate market crash, they make 10%. Doesn't matter to them. The stock market goes up, they make 10%. The stock market collapse, they still make 10%. Because the 10% is tied to a loan, which is tied to a property, which the property has to appraise 20% higher than what they're lending out. So even if the loan does not perform, they now have a property that they acquired through foreclosure at least 20% below the value of it. There's no way for them to lose. And all of this is based on the premise of organizing, planning, teaming up, creating a club that pull resources together. What was most fascinating about this conversation with this person, most fascinating thing, was that because he contributed $630 million to this community, this one location, he has access to just about every single important person in that town. He can pick up the phone and call the mayor. He can pick up the phone and call the police commissioner. He can pick up the call just about any single person that's significant in that town. That is power. That is respect. That is success. I don't know how to explain it, but that is the goal when you are a member of a community. There's nothing better than that for someone that left the villages of Guinea or West Africa or somewhere, come to America, and within a span of 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, get to a point where you can pick up the phone and call the town mayor or the city council or someone else just because you contribute so much to their economy. And all you did is organize. Think and organize. That's it. So I understand that my end goal is grandiose. It's big, but it's not unattainable. It's not, we sit here and stuff happens in our home, back home, and we go to the streets of New York and like protest. And These people, this community, something happens in their country in Israel, they call politician in America that changes the law for them, like moving the entire capital of a country, because of how much money they invest in the US. Think about that for a second. So the club that I'm trying to create, I understand it might seem weird, but it's a club that starts out small, but with ambitions to be able to be voiced, to be able to say something significant. And anyone that they have a conversation with will listen because of the net worth of that club. That's the goal. It's not, and it starts with $250 every single week. That's all. I'm looking for 250 people that I can get along with who are willing to put $250 every single week. And we're going to work to make money with that 250 to grow it. So we can prove a concept. And then once we prove the concept, the idea is to make that club as wealthy as possible using the mechanism that other people have used. I am not trying to invent anything new. I'm just trying to find the right 250 people to do this with. That's it. It's not complicated. So I'm looking for 250 people to jump on a 1-year investment with me where they contribute $13,000 or they contribute $250 so that that club can make an impact within ourselves and our community so that at the end we can say, let's grow this, let's make this more, let's do this, let's do that. There's going to be a point, I assure you, there's going to be a point where we're not even going to ask $250 from the investors because of how much they invested and how much the club has grown, that the activities that it does itself is more rewarding than the $250 that the people are investing. But it all starts with a commitment of $250. That's it. I sit here in America. Let me give you one more example. I sit here in America and I watch these priests and pastors of these mega church. These pastors buy private jets that cost $50 million a year. And all they do is preach, like what's the word I'm looking for? They do sermons and they ask donations, and then they have people that pay for the prayers of these, and they go buy jets and mega mansions and they build these mega churches. But the average size of these places, we're talking 2,000 people, 3,000 people. We're talking 2,000 to 3,000 people. So the point I'm trying to make is this can be doable. This can be doable. Hector, you can put a pause on this and then you can answer the call, and then I'll answer any question that Mr. Barry has. All right. Mr. Barry, my brother, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions, but I don't know where to start from. I know where to start from. It's really, really interesting. I believe in real estate. That's one thing I think there's money in it, because before I ask my question, I look at my father. Like I said, was in the military since when he was 18. And before I came to America in 1998, when I counted, my father had 48 houses that he built.
Wow.
That was before I left. And then he did continue. Everywhere he would move, he would build. And I remember when I got my house here, he was so excited and happy. And he said, boy, you want to be like me, right? But you can't. I said, Dad, I would try. So I believe in real estate. My only concern is this. It's the trust. Because whatever I do, I want to put myself into is the trust.
That's everybody. That is everybody's
right.
concern.
That's my main thing is to trust. Because I don't know you. I only know your name is Marwan Bar, right? Because I was going through Facebook and I saw your ad and I clicked on it. I found it very interesting and I signed up. But my $250 a week, I think most of us can afford that. What's that, about $1,000 a month?
That's about $1,000 a month, or $1,250 on the months that have 5 weeks.
So most of us can definitely afford that. But my main, again, is the trust and the
So,
work that will be done behind it. You know.
so let me talk a little bit about trust, Mr. Barry. Let me talk a little bit about trust. I am not asking people to invest in my business. Like, let's say I came to you and I said, Mr. Barry, I own a grocery store, or Mr. Barry, I am a car salesman, or Mr. Barry, I own a restaurant. Come and invest $250 a week for me, or I make computers. I'm IBM. Invest $250 a week on me, and then I'll give you a return. If I don't pay you back, there's nothing you could do. I can take the physical things and run away with it. I could take the cars, because the cars are what's called movable, tangible, but movable. It's not a fixed. I can take it and hide and run away with your money. Here, I am coming to you and I'm saying, Mr. Barry, put $250 a week and I'm going to buy a house. The house, the definition of house or real estate, is an immovable, tangible asset that comes with a title. So if you give me $250 4 times and I'm going to buy a house, if I don't buy the house at the end of the fourth payment, then you are going to call me and say, hey, what's going on? You told me you were going to buy a house. What is the house? But if I buy the house, the only requirement is to put the title under an LLC that you are a member of. If the house is in a title of an LLC that you are a member of, there's no place for me to run away with. I can run, but the house is going to stay behind.
Right.
The land and the house. I can't, like, people sell houses for $1 under the condition that it be moved, and people don't buy it. That's how difficult moving a house is. So I can sell a house for $1 and someone else to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to move it. So if I come to you and I say, Mr. Barry, let's put $1,000 and I'm going to put your name in a house that's worth $250,000, even if I run away, the LLC can sell that house and recuperate their investment. Now, stock market can drop 30%, 40% in a given year. We've seen it. 2008, the real estate market crash, the 9/11, the real estate market crash, even COVID, real estate market crash. Stock market crash. So stock market can crash 40, 50% in a given year. It can even crash 40% in a given month. We've seen that. But real estate does not crash 40%. There's not a history where the real estate market crashed 40% overall. There are pockets where the real estate market might crash 10, 20% over a span of a year or 2 years. But that's the reason why the banks put their loan amount and they require the down payment of 20%, because that phenomenon does not happen in the real estate industry. So if you give me $1,000 and I put it into a house, the house is under the LLC's name. It's not going to run away. That's number one. Number two, if we make a bad investment, we buy the wrong house, we're doing it 12 times. We're doing it 12 times. Maybe some of them are going to be bad, but maybe the other ones are going to be good. But it should average out to be a profitable thing, because the real estate market works in cyclical trends. That means that every once in a while, all the houses in America goes up. Every once in a while, all the houses in America goes down. So if we buy the houses at the peak, because we're doing it for 12 months, and we're doing what's called a dollar cost average, where every single month we buy one, as it goes down, the last properties we're going to buy are going to be at a better price. So when we sell it, when it's ready to go up, we're going to make more profit on the last houses. If the market is going up and we're buying every month, the first one we bought it at a better price. So when we sell the last one, we're not going to make a profit on it, but the first one we bought will be at a better price. So if we are mitigating the risk of the valuation of the property and we're mitigating the risk of trust, The only reason why someone is not investing is because I haven't convinced them that it is a trustworthy endeavor. So here's the third thing. Our syndication, this is called the syndication. Our syndication, we spent $60,000, went to the federal government and applied for a Securities and Exchange Commission agreement number. That means that we have submitted all of our documents and all of our background and all of our criminal records for them to verify whether we are trustworthy or whether we have ever stolen someone else's money before they gave us the agreement. We have the same documents that IBM, Google, PayPal, Amazon, whatever company you trust and you buy through, what's that app? Robinhood? Whatever app you buy through Robinhood, those companies, whatever documents they have, we have the same thing because we went through the same procedure to say we want to raise money and sell shares so that we can take that money and put it into real estate. I've seen stocks of GameStop go from 50 cents, $100, $1, $2 to over $300. But real estate don't do that. We also seen that crash about 50%, 60%. We've seen Bitcoin go from $1,000, $5,000 to $60,000 and then drop to 20 grand. Real estate does not do that. So that's the reason why, because of the stability of the market, we want to tie our money into real estate. And we want to do that slowly over a period of many years to come. So I understand that people have concerns for trust, but that's also the reason that we are offering a division of the profit equally based on the investment. We're not saying if you take your money right now, Mr. Barry, you take your money, you have $10,000, you take it, and you go put it at TD Bank, or you go put it at Citizens Bank, or you go put it at Bank of America. How do you trust them? You trust them because they have a FDIC. You trust them because the federal government said, we're going to insure your deposits. And the only thing they give you is a small piece of paper that says you deposited $1,000. But then someone like me goes to them and give them a title of a house and say, can I borrow $10,000 from you? And they're going to take Mr. Barry's deposit and give it to me.
Right.
And then I'm going to pay the bank 5, 6, or 7%. And then hopefully I'm going to make 20% on that investment. But again, guess how much Bank of America is going to give Mr. Barry?
Couple of dollars.
1 cent, half a cent, maybe 2 cents on, or 2% on that money. And they're going to keep the difference. So instead of that happening, why don't I just go around and say, hey, Mr. Barry, I want to put some money into real estate. Do you want to do it with me? And we are going to share whatever the profit is. And then Mr. Barry said, well, I don't trust you. So then I say, okay, Mr. Barry, no problem. Mr. Barry goes and put his money at Bank of America, and I go to Bank of America and borrow the money anyway. So I'm still using Mr. Barry's money. That's the way the economy works, because Mr. Barry trusts Bank of America better. Whereas if I default, if I don't pay Bank of America, guess what they're going to do? They're going to take the house. That's it. That's the only, they're not going to put me in jail. They're going to mess up my credit and take the house. That's it. That's all they can do. Because that's the only thing I put up as a collateral or a guarantee for the money that I'm taking from them. And then if they lose too many houses, they're going to call Mr. Barry and say, sorry, we have defaulted. We are bankrupt. Mr. Barry will still lose his money. And that's what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. That's what happened with Republic Bank. And these collapses happened this year. It wasn't like the savings and loan of collapse of 1998. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about right now, this year, banks still collapse. Right. And it still requires the federal government to step in and say, hey, let's make Mr. Barry whole. But the bank still collapse. So the question is, do you want to get a return on your money or not? That's really what the question is. But in order for that to take place, You have to take the risk. I don't know. That's my answer to the trust.
Right. So it sounds good. I'm not gonna lie, man. It's
I am not trying. I don't know how.
no,
I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to
no, no,
explain.
no, 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 no. Everything you're saying makes a lot of sense. Not everything you're saying here, it makes sense. It makes sense. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. So you're saying that if these whole things come together, we are able to buy one house every month?
That is the
If we all
plan.
come together, the 250 people come together?
That is the plan. That is absolutely the plan. And it doesn't matter where we buy the house. We just need to buy a house where if the value of the house after it's fixed, if the value of the house after it's fixed is $350,000, $400,000, $450,000, but it is selling for less than $250,000 or $250,000 at the top, that's what I'm looking for. So that I can spend 1 month fixing that one, so that when we sell it, it's worth 400 or 450. That's what I'm looking for. I am looking for houses that are so bad that either has title issues that we can fix, or that have physical, or that has structural, or that has some sort of problem. Maybe the sewer is bad. Maybe the septic tank is bad. Maybe it has asbestos or lead. Something that makes it difficult for a regular bank to finance it. That's what I'm looking for. Maybe the house is bad, but it has a lot of land. So we can subdivide the land. Maybe it's an apartment building that we can turn into condominiums. That's what.
But do you think right now is the right time to buy a house, according to, because I've been following recently, they're saying that interest rate is kind of high. Is it like this time? Is it good time to buy a house?
But if okay. We are trying to create a club of 250 people so that we don't have to go to the bank. So if we don't have to go to the bank, does it matter if interest rate is high or low? The only point of having a high interest rate is if we're going to borrow, then we're going to have a carrying cost.
Right.
But if we don't have a carrying cost and we're not going to borrow, now might be the best time to buy, because people that have financed it at the peak might not be able to pay for their property.
We're using our own money to buy, right?
So we go to them and we say, hey, we see that you're having challenges making a payment to your mortgage payment. Can we buy your property?
Right.
So when interest rate becomes a handicap is when we are selling, or it is when we are refinancing if we need to get some of the investors' money out. But if we are in a phase, in a year, or where we're doing nothing but buying and fixing, we don't need to worry about the interest rate. That's it. We don't need to worry about interest rate because we're not borrowing. Interest rate might help us. Okay. If you have cash in the bank and the interest rate goes up, what happens to your money? Your money loses value. If you have $1,000 today, interest rate goes up, the cost of money becomes higher. People borrow less, people spend less. You lose value on your money. Because you're not earning anything on the money that's sitting there. If the interest rate goes down, the opposite happens. You still lose money. Money is created in a way where it is done on purpose to lose value over time, because it needs to lose value so that the producer of the money can continue to print it so that he can pay the debt off that he's engaging himself in. That's the reason why there's inflation. So if you have money, the only thing you can do is to own assets that hedge inflation, that goes up in value when inflation is going up. And the best thing that hedge inflation is gold, assets like real estate, land, things like oil, gas. Those are the things that hedge inflation. At least
when you buy a property and let's say there's a problem with it, you need to fix it. It's gonna take you maybe, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months, whatever time you need to fix it. During that time, when you're fixing that property, are you gonna pay your mortgage in that time, within that time period?
The house, you're paying cash for the house.
Or you
No
paying cash
mortgage.
already? Right.
You don't do anything. You just take the house is 250 grand. You take 250 grand, you give it to the person. The house is yours, free and clear. The only thing you pay is tax and insurance.
Right.
But
Okay,
even the
yes.
insurance the insurance requirement goes away because you don't have to protect someone's investment except for your investors. So if a property is worth 250 grand, or let me say, if the property is worth $400,000 and you buy it for $250,000, you only need to put $250,000 insurance on it if you want to, saving the money or the difference. So the only expenses that you have, you don't even have to put water, you don't have to put electricity or gas or whatever. You just put insurance and you pay your tax. Your taxes are quarterly. Right. Insurance is on an annual basis. And that's all you need for that activity. That's what did I just do?
How many people do we have so far that signed up for this thing?
Hector told me not to tell anymore. The reason why he told me not to tell is because if I say I have 100 people,
right?
If I say I have 100 people,
right?
Hey, Baba, people will say I have time.
Because the maximum we're looking for is 250, right?
Yes.
And is there any requirement as far as like us that's doing this? All we need is $250. Then nothing else that you're gonna be looking through, like let's say our background, let's say our credit score, and things like that.
No, there's no
just
requirement.
The 250.
I'm just looking for 250 that understand what it is that I'm trying to do. That's it.
Right.
I'm trying to look for 250 people that understand what I'm trying to do. We have an understanding. I send you a contract of what I'm going to do. You sign the contract, understanding you're going to put $250 every week, and then that's it. So once we get to 250 people, we're going to stop doing all of these webinars, and then we're going to move on, and we're going to start doing real estate projects. Before, I used to tell people, oh, I have 50 people, I have 100 people, and then the new people, the new people take their time.
The payment will only start once the 250 people is complete, right? Yes. Once we have the 250 people ready, but then we're going to fix it.
But I'm asking them to put a deposit. Here's the reason why. When I first started this, I am in a couple of groups, like telemilly groups. I'm in a couple of groups of African groups and things like that. Right. Mansour, that is working, buddy. Can I work? Wow. Okay. So I am in groups around the community, and I called and I tried to reach out to people. I had 250 people say, yeah, I'm going to do it. Then I say, okay, now I have 250 people. Let me start collecting the money. 90% of them, 80% of them, none of them put up the money. Oh, I just started a house in Guinea. Oh, you know what? I just got laid off. Oh, you know what? I am traveling this month.
Fine excuse, yes. But you know what? I'm going to tell a story. I don't know if you heard about this. And about 5-6 years ago, you know Ibrahim Asori here from, he has a radio station in New York here. They call it Media d'Afrique.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Ibrahim Asori, somebody from the community came out from nowhere. It wasn't exactly by real estate. I don't know. I think that was a different type of investment. But at the end of the day, it was all about bringing money in. Everybody was required to bring a certain amount of money, right? So the person came and did the presentation on the radio. I was part of it. I listened to the presentation. And even Ibrahim Asori believed in it. And even himself, he invested in it. At the end of the day, it was a disappointment. So I think some of those people that are kind of hesitant, maybe they're not telling you straight up. They're probably beating around the bush and say, "Go sit down, gonna me whole like economy, you know what I'm saying?" So they don't really tell you, but some of them, that's where they take their money into it. You know what I mean? But it's not the same type of investment. It had nothing to do with real estate. I think it was some other type of investment. But it was about bringing money in, something like every month or every week, something like that. And then it was a failure because the guy I don't know what happened. At the end of the day, the whole thing was a lie.
Yeah.
And I know some people in the community in New York here was part of it. They lost a lot of money into that community. So some of those people, but again, it's something that I love, man. I think I put my name on the list. Inshallah, we'll
We'll put your money when you put a deposit, Mr. Buddy. But let me tell you another story, Mr. Barry. Since we're like telling stories, let me tell you another story. I have a cousin of mine. His name is Chanamaj KT.
Okay.
He's in New York. And I told him about this. He drives Uber Black. So it's like, yeah, man, this sounds like a good idea. But I was involved in something like this 5 years ago. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, let me tell you the story. I said, all right. He said, there's a guy in Philadelphia that came and talked to us. And he said that the minimum investment is like 10,000 or 20,000 or something like that. And you invest the money, they're going to take the money and they're going to put it into real estate. And they're going to buy one house and fix it and sell it and use the money to buy more houses. So they're going to buy one house. So if you have 10 people that put $20,000, you get 200 grand. They take the 200,000, they buy one house, they fix it. They sell that house, but they don't distribute the money. They take that house, sell it, and whatever money they make together, they use that to buy another house. And then they do that for another house until it grows big enough. Then they divide the money after the end of 5 years. They said that guy has had that money, and it's still the activity, the operation is still going on. But the guy has had that money for 15 years, and no one has ever seen a profit of it.
Wow.
And every so often, they show on their group, hey, this is the house that we bought this time, and here it is. And it almost feels, what I was told is that it feels like it's a family where this guy becomes president for 3 or 4 months, and then he eats all the profit of all the transactions. he
brings in a new one, right?
He brings his brother to take over, and then that guy do a couple of projects and eats all the profit, and then
right.
I'm like, well, my idea is a little bit separate, where I am not asking someone to bring me a lump sum of 10 or 20,000. If they do it, that's fine. But the idea is to bring a little bit. The reason why you bring a little bit is because it forces us to do one transaction a month. But the second thing is it forces us to do a dollar cost average, where we only buy one, depending on the market. If it goes up, we buy one. If it goes down, we buy maybe two, because the price the prices are dropping. Maybe we buy two, maybe we buy three with the money. But we buy depending on the market. Then at the end of the 12 months, we stop. And then we say, this is what we have. We can sell everything and distribute all the money, so that everybody has their money at the end of the year, so that you can trust the idea and the process, so that we can say, do you want to do it again? If you say yes, then we do it again. If you say no, then we don't do it.
Right. It just reminds me of something. I've been working with this company now for 2 years now in Brooklyn here. There's a couple of African guys with me. It's 12 of us, right? Exactly, we're doing like this, $250 a week. It's called Susu. You know Susu, right?
Yeah, of course.
So we do $250 a week, and then 500 every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, one person will take the money.
Yeah.
We are doing this here right now, and so far it's working fine, because whoever's in charge, it is someone who we trust. Like I just give him my $500 every 2 weeks, and then when it's time for me to take it, I take my money. But it's not being invested. They return your money back to you, as you know, whatever that is, $12,000 a year, and it's up to you to know what to do with that money. Now, if you don't put that money in the right place, somebody will call you from Africa, Koto, and you take $200 from that, it's already going down, and then the money is sitting there. It's not being used. You work so hard for entire year to save that little money, and then you just spend everything around again. That's why I'm kind of liking this idea you're talking about, really. Yeah, I like it, because
and the best customers for me, I already know that the best customers for me are those New York women, the older women that are in Susus, that does the hair braiding or the salon, and like all of the restaurant, and they do all these things. There are like hundreds of them in New York that do Susu, from Gambia, Guinea, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Liberia, all these places. And All they do is susu. But the difference that they don't realize is that the susu, you get exactly what you put in.
Right, you put
So
in
if
exactly. Yeah.
I have women in Boston that do susu, and it's like 10 of them or 13 of them, and they do it for 6 months, but they do $250, and then they take the money only one time in 6 months. Right. And when they do that, they get $7,500 in lump sum at the end of 6 months, every 6 months. But the problem with that is that it's the exact money. So if inflation hit, the things that you could buy 7 months ago is now more expensive.
Will go up, yes.
So you still lost money.
Goes down, right?
If I could go buy milk 7 months ago for $1, and today that milk cost me $2, even though I got $7,000, I technically got $5,000 or $4,000 because everything went up while I was doing the susu, including real estate. So if I tell people, let's take our money and put it into real estate, now when you get your money 7 months from now, you're getting it at a new value of the new assets. But if we rehabbed it, you're getting the money at a new value of the new assets after rehab. So if that rehab pushed the price of your investment by 20%, you're getting 20% return on your money. If we push that investment to 40%, your $7,000 that you're getting back, you're getting it at a 40% higher. So that milk still costs you the same exact amount of money. And that's the difference. Mr. Buddy, I don't want to keep you all day, man. But
yes. I'm actually at work already. I'm at work already. Yeah. Yes, I love the presentation, man. I love everything about the idea. So when you say that 250, right? Would that be once we start making that 250? It's that fixed, or that number can change along the line?
It would only change if you wanted to change it, but we don't need to change it. We're looking for 250 people that will invest $250. Some people ask the question, can we buy 2 contracts? We say, yes, you can buy 2 contracts, but we still need 250 people.
Right.
So that's it.
Oh, okay. The amount of people is not going to change.
Yeah, we're still looking for 250 people that are putting $250. So if one of them want to put $500, they can put $500. If one of them want to say, hey, I'm going to put $200 for myself, and I'm going to put $200 for my wife, they can do that. No problem. So that's the story.
And the down payment, if the down payment's got to be done, how much is down payment?
The down payment, I think Hector, I was asking Hector to take a down payment of $1,000. Hector said that people are complaining about that. So we're looking for some sort of down payment so that you know and we know that you are committed.
Yeah, Hector's right. That $1,000 down payment is definitely right. Yeah. People will complain about that. Especially it's the first one. Remember, it's going to be the first transaction before any result is seen. People will be hesitant. Maybe once they start seeing results, then they can feel more comfortable in bringing in, their money in without any problem. But before that, it's going to be, you know how these things works.
So
people will be hesitant at the beginning, but once they start seeing results, they'll be comfortable.
Hector is telling me to make the deposit, $250 deposit. I'm like, maybe
that makes more sense. That makes more sense because that's the first payment.
I'm telling Hector, maybe we should like meet in the middle and then do 500 instead of. No.
I think the 250 makes more sense. The 250 makes more sense. Yes, the 250 makes more sense because that's the first payment.
Yeah.
Once that first payment is made.
Let me ask you a question. Since you are an advocate, for 250, let me ask you a question. What happens if we take a deposit for $1,000 before we start collecting the 250, and then somebody in the middle of the transaction, somebody says, hey, Marwan, c'est moi, it's me, Mr. Barry. Listen, something happened. I have to go build a house in Africa. I don't want to invest in this anymore. But your deposit was $1,000. Do you know what we can do? We can take that $1,000 and use it until we find somebody to replace Mr. Barry. But if Mr. Barry deposits $250, if the Mr. Barry deposits $250 and then we start doing projects, you know, real estate is not a cheap endeavor. We start doing real estate project and we find a house we're gonna buy. Mr. Barry calls us and say, "Hey, Marwan, listen, I'm doing something I can't pay anymore. Count me out." The deposit of 250 only gives us 1 week to find a replacement for Mr. Barry. Do you see the difference between the two?
Yeah, it's a big difference, yes. But we can tell people, look, if you put down your 250, that 250, we can reimburse you that 250 if you decide to pull out for whatever reason. It's a down payment. Once you put that in and you decide that you wanna leave, you don't want to be part of the whole thing, you're gonna lose your 250. I think that makes more sense. Okay, you tell them, look, you're gonna put down 250, but if you decide you don't want to be part of it, after you sign the contract, you're gonna put that in the contract. So it's already in there. You're gonna sign for it. Look, think about it. No, don't rush. Think about it. But if you're hesitant, don't come in. But if you want to be in 100% fully, that's when you put your down payment. But once you put that $250, you are locked in.
Okay. Well,
you are locked in.
It makes sense. It absolutely.
Now, if you don't want to stay, we can get someone else to replace you. But you're gonna lose your 250.
Yeah.
That's the guy. You're gonna lose your 250.
There is definitely two camps. There is definitely two camps. But what I'm saying is that I am not worried about the deposit. I am worried about making sure the investor understands, agrees to participate, because if they don't, the impact affects me and 250 other people.
And the rest of the team, yes.
And the rest of the team. So we can create a wait list where we have 250 people and then we have a waiting list. And if someone said, I want to get out, we can replace them with the waiting list. But if someone has a substantial deposit, like 1,000, it gives us 4 weeks to find a replacement. If someone puts a deposit of 250, it only gives us 1 week. Or the managers have to step up and put their own money in the place of the one that get out. So
that makes sense. That also makes sense.
Mitigated. I'm sorry?
So the others are not affected.
Yes, baby.
How many people you have working with you, like as far as like the managing in the office, like people that are really running this? Because all we doing, we put that money in, but we're not doing any other work beside that. How many people you have there?
It's
four people. Okay.
We have 3 outsourced marketing people, but it's 4 people. 4 people.
Okay. It's a small team.
And that's the reason why we're not charging a management fee. 0.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. We are not concerned. I want to be honest and straightforward. We're not necessarily concerned the first year at making money for the team, like the salary of the team. That's not our biggest concern. Our biggest concern for the first year is to build proof of concept and trust. Proof of concept and trust. And Mr. Barry, let me say one last thing about trust. We're going to ask 250 people to put $250 in an investment vehicle. Did you know that there was a law in America that if you use your credit card and put the $250, you have up to 90 days to call your credit card company and get your money back?
No, I didn't know that.
I'm sure you knew that, no? That means that you are putting money and I have 90 days to deliver what I said I'm going to do. Otherwise, you have 0 risk. 0. You can literally call your credit card company and say, hey, I want my money back. I put my money in there, but they didn't do what they said they were going to do. I can do it with Amazon. I can do it with anything. The only way that you don't get your money is if I fight and I said, no, I did do what they said they're going to do. I did it. I said that I was going to do this. Here's the proof of what I did, and here's the contract that we signed. Then they're going to say no. But if you give me $250 and I don't buy the house, then I didn't do what we agreed. You will be entitled to your money back. You know that?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so the point that I'm trying to make is that the risk is mitigated because I am entering into a contract to buy one house every single month once we have 250 people. So I have that obligation. If I don't do it, you call your credit card, you get your money back. Even if I don't want to give it to you, they're going to give it back to you. Your obligation to pay that card goes away. That's law. Nothing I can do about it.
All right. What party later?
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I kept you guys for, I don't know how many, I think I kept you guys for almost 1 hour. I'm going to let you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Mr. Petty, you have my
Right.
number. Hector,
Yes.
welcome. We're going to send you the recording and then we'll go from there, okay?
No, I actually don't have your number.
You don't have my number. I thought everybody had my number. I'm going to put my number on the chat, or Hector has your number. He's going to text you my number, okay?
Okay. All right. That would be great. That would be great. Yes, please.
This
Yeah,
is
do
my
that.
cell phone. Feel free to call me. We can chat. I am a little bit busy, so if you call me to ask me about real estate,
I got the
I'm
number.
going to
Right.
charge you.
No, you're gonna do that. You're gonna do that for free, man. Come on, Mr. Bad.
Let's call the other buddy.
Nah, really, man.
Help you with real estate.
No. I love your presentation better. You see, with him, I can't be serious. When he's doing things with me, I can't be serious because we bullshit too much. But you, I'll be serious.
Yes.
Thank you so much, man. Really, I love it, man. I love the whole team, brother. Thank you so much. Hector, thank you. Thank you very much. Talk some other time. Thank you.
Appreciate
I'll call
it.
you back. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, Hector, I'm going to get out of here. Please share the recording with everybody, and then we'll go from there. Hi, Hector. There's two Hectors.
No, but I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, Wone Mosa. Is that you?
Yes.
Hi,
Awesome.
Mr. Musa. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I apologize. You missed a lot of the meeting, but we recorded everything, and Hector can send you the link of the recording. But if you have any questions that I can answer before I let you go, I'd be happy to do that.
No, I just want to get the information first and understand, because as I told him when I started, I saw this thing online and I just said, there are a lot of things out there in the internet. I am myself can attest to that. So that's why I said, I want to get more information, because when I saw it, it says, oh, it's a Muslim. I say, great. I am a Muslim. It's real estate. I say, great. I'm struggling. I even cannot buy a house because everything that I get is the interest. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this one. So that's why I said, okay, let me go get more information on this thing and see if it meets my investment requirements and my morality and all those things. And the people I'm dealing with are Muslims. And I said, okay, I take it from there. That's what I'm interested in, because I just was talking to my son right now. He was telling me, Dad, what it is. I said, I'm just struggling. I cannot even get a house because, everywhere I go, that's the problem what we are having.
What do you, Brother Musa, do you mind if I ask, where are you, what state do you live in?
Virginia.
Virginia. Okay. Right now I'm in Washington, D.C.
So you live in Washington, D.C., or you just came in there?
I grew up in Washington, D.C. My parents live in Washington, D.C. My parents live in Maryland, Clinton, Maryland. So I am here with my family visiting my parents. But I do real estate projects in Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and I do projects in Massachusetts. So I'm very familiar with the area.
Okay. Where are you originally from?
Guinea, West Africa, Guinea-Conakry.
Okay, Guinea-Conakry. Yeah, I'm from Mauritania.
Mauritania. Okay, that's just north of us.
Yes.
Beautiful,
exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's why when I saw that one, I said, okay, let me talk to these people and understand what is going on. Investment in real estate, it's a good thing. And at the same time, I said, okay.
Yeah, so we are trying to do something where we can help the community as well. So this project is an investment project. That's all it is. You take $250 every single week, you put it into a pool with 250 people. We take the money, we buy houses, we fix it. At the end of the year, we sell it. But if we get people to invest with us for 2 years, we are going to take some of those houses and give it away to the member of the club so that they have a chance to win a house. If we get these people to invest with us for 5 years, our hope is to give away 50 houses to those people, because that's the way the number works. The less investment, the shorter the time, the less houses we'll be able to buy. Now, the other thing that we're going to do is every single person that invests with us will be able to have a chance to work with them to help them buy a house if they don't win the lottery to win a house. So we can help people buy a house, but we can also give away the house based on the investment duration. Simplified. How do I simplify it? Okay. So there are a couple of things that we're doing, but we really just want to start. Simply, we just want to start collecting 250 people from $250 and just buy houses so that the community can see that we are doing what we say we're going to do, and so that the community can see that we are making a profit for them and for us. That's it. Then after that, we're going to talk about all the other things. But right now, our focus is let's come together with 250 people and see, when we put money together, can we buy houses that we can fix and sell and make a profit, where we make a little bit and our investors make a little bit. That way, when they go to work and they make money and they take the money and they invest and they make money, the money that they're making becomes 2 times more profitable than just working, making money and saving it. The money that we're buying, the houses with are not going to be borrowed. So we're not going to, there's no interest in it. There's no haram, there's no riba, we take the money, we use the cash, we buy the house cash. When we sell it, we take the cash, we split the cash. So it's no borrowed money, it's no interest rate, there's no bank involved, there's no monthly payment involved, but we want to do this one house every month at a time so that the burden is less and it is measurable and trackable for everybody. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. So how many people do you have right now? How many investors do you have now?
Hector told me not to tell people. The reason why we don't want to tell people anymore is because when we used to tell people, they would take their time to think about it. We are telling people we need 250 people. So if you want to be part of it, don't take your time, because once we get to 250, we close the door.
Hector, no, what is the problem? Because, the more transparent you are, the better,
The problem is that when we tell someone, hey, I have 150 people, they're going to think that there's a lot of room and they're going to take their time. If we say, oh, we have 249 people, they're going to say, oh, I better hurry up and jump on this deal. So instead of us lying to people, we are saying we're not going to tell anybody. We just need 250. If you want to join, join. If you don't want to join, I understand. No problem. If you want to invite somebody to join with you, mashallah, we will welcome them. But once we get to 250, we're going to close the door.
Okay.
All
right. That's fair enough. All right. Thank you.
No worries. But we're going to send you the video. Please take your time, look at it. If you want to think about it and you want to join us, please let us know. If this is not the right investment for you, we understand.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.